Rayquaza and Mega Rayquaza. Look at Rayquaza's stats, they get pretty good. And when we look at, alright, we got 150 on that attack, 150 on the special attack, so I mean, mixed potential, 95 speed, so it outspeeds the other legendaries, and 105 on the hit points. I mean, it's just going to be better in a lot of ways. Then it Mega Evolves, and I mean, like, okay, 180 on the special attack, 180 on the attack, it actually gains speed. This is why the other legendary Pokemon didn't gain speed, because it becomes too scary. That 115 speed plus a 180 attack or 180 special attack. That's just ridiculous. Looking at its typing, Dragon Flying typing. Well, I mean, at least it's weak against Ice and Rock, right? Unless it Mega Evolves, because Delta Stream makes it to where things that are super effective against Flying-type Pokemon, those don't really matter anymore, which means that 4 times weakness to Ice just becomes a 2 times weakness, that weakness to Rock just becomes a regular normal hit, and then it actually gains resistance to electricity in all of this. What? Okay, so then there's the ground immunity that always exists, and the resistance to fighting bug, fire, water, and grass. So it just kind of gets really absurd that really the only way you can hurt a Mega Rayquaza is Ice Dragon and Fairy, but then you also have to think about the Pokemon supporting, and we can look at that in Pokemon Showdown. So first off, I'm just going to note, if you have access to Rayquaza, and Mega Rayquaza is allowed, like, there's no reason to not use it. It's a Mega Pokemon with an item. Oh, you didn't know about that, did you? Well, for those of you that were paying attention to the storyline, the reason why Mega Rayquaza evolves is because of Dragon Ascent, not necessarily a Mega Stone, which means there's an item slot open. So Dragon's Ascent is already a powerful flying physical move, which you don't see a lot anyway, so that's just really good on its part. And then you have great coverage from there, Earthquake, Extreme Speed, Outrage. A 180 base attack Pokemon that can get Life Orb with a 115 speed, you throw down that Jolly Nature, and it's going to be really hard to harm you because 105 hit points doesn't matter if you're investing, you still have 100 defense and special defense, and not a lot of super effective hits. So you're going to survive. If you get the outspeed on your opponent already, Life Orb is just going to make it to where Life Orb, Outrage, Life Orb, Dragon Ascent, too much over for your opponent. Now, I know that Outrage is a risk, that with Fairy-type Pokemon, but if your opponent doesn't have Fairy-type Pokemon, or those Fairy-type Pokemon are removed, you have free reign to Life Orb, Outrage with so much attack. Even resisted Pokemon are going to just get knocked out by that. And then there's another thing that makes Rayquaza terrifying as a Mega, and that's Dragon Dance. That Dragon Dance gives you so much damage. By taking EVs off the attack and putting it into speed, this will let you outspeed 135 base speed Pokemon after one Dragon Dance. And I like the idea of Citrus Berry. I mean, it just means that now you have 25% more health. That's kind of stupid when you have all these defenses and hit points that we've been talking about. So, free Dragon Dance, and now you're going to have 50% damage on top of a 500, throwing out a 120 base power move, or like just all this stab coverage stupidity. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous. And then Dragon Claw. I don't like Outrage in this case because if you're boosting, you have a lot more freedom to pivot around. And then Dragon Claw is just like, oh, 80 damage stab. Sure, that'll knock you out. Earthquake. Oh, Rock-type Pokemon? No. Steel-type Pokemon? No. Like, this is just really strong. You can also run Substitute on one of these sets, which is actually really bad for your opponent if they don't know it's coming. They switch out, they try to throw down status. That's a free substitute. You hide behind Dragon Dance, and now that means they have to be able to survive a hit just to break the sub, to try to hit you again, to try to get the knockout. It gets really silly on the substitute kind of Dragon Dance setup Pokemon, so that's one thing that you can do as well. You can also look at the other kind of super gimmick, is that if you get like Swords Dance, I was thinking you have Swords Dance hit points, or you could also like invest in speed. So you get Swords Dance hit points. The goal is to get 2 Swords Dance off, so that's why we might run a Citrus Berry again. Run that Citrus Berry again, and then just use Extreme Speed. 2 Swords Dances under this like level with Extreme Speed, that's KOing a lot of Pokemon. So I mean, there's that. And then we haven't even talked about Delta Stream and doubles. So any Pokemon that's weak against Rock, Ice, or Electric, take your pick, is going to get some heavy support in doubles, and it could be a Mega Pokemon, just from Rayquaza existing besides it, being like, oh, if you don't attack me, I'm going to Dragon Dance and sweep your team. But if you don't attack it, it doesn't have super effective hits, and it's going to attack and sweep your team. And that's pretty much how Mega Rayquaza plays, so really silly, stupid, strong Pokemon. I mean, it's a Mega Pokemon, so the highest base stats in the game, and then it gets an item. Game Freak, plus, why? And you can just kind of, if you can't use Mega Rayquaza, look at regular Rayquaza. You have a lot of the same options that pretty much this can do any of these sets, just a little less. Just not as good, but still really strong. And that's that's kind of it. So if you guys enjoyed this video, that's how you use Mega Rayquaza. I don't need to